The other play-in is Xavier and Texas. Sean Miller, Rodney Terry for a date with Illinois. This should be the most entertaining game, I think, of the first four. Do you agree with me on that note?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that you have one, you got some really good players in this game, really good star players in this game, and also maybe some coaches that people feel differently about.
So I am excited for Trey Johnson, Ryan Conwell, right?
I'm
That's
very, very excited for that.
that's top of my list. You love both these guys. Who do you love more?
I think Trey Johnson is the obviously the NBA player in there. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. I will say this though, Conwell feels more March to me.
Ooh,
Does that
why?
make sense to you?
Just because like one and done, sometimes those guys are like, let me get my 20 and get to the draft.
Yeah, I think there's a world where Trey Johnson wants to get started on the draft process and get away from Rodney Terry. Like this was like we're here, I guess. I'll play in this. I think there is some like Conwell run to him, like shit to him type run for March. I thought that he tried to do that in the Big East tournament against Marquette, and he did everything he could. There's a world where Xavier should have won that basketball game against Marquette, but Conwell was incredible in that second half. We've been singing his praises for a long time. Think back to when Xavier played Michigan earlier on. We sung the praises of what Conwell can do and how he can be special for this Xavier team. Now, I think Xavier let a lot of people down this year. Texas also let a lot of people down this year. But to me, Ryan Conwell, I think, has more of a March run to him incentive than maybe Trey Johnson, who is gonna, like we said, he's he's probably thinking NBA draft at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, but also at the same time, have you ever watched Trey Johnson this year and felt like, damn, that guy's checked out?
Nah, he's a competitor.
That's the one thing I would say. This isn't respectfully to this guy. This isn't VJ Edgecombe to me.
Come on.
This isn't pick your who what other guys we want to do? Kasparis. There are some guys I've watched this year just feel like they're going through the motions. Trey Johnson is not one of them. Every time I have watched Trey Johnson, I have felt like he is throwing Rodney Terry and 13 other guys on his back and saying, come with me. I'm good enough to do this. And he's right. He is nearly good enough to do this. So, definitively, no disrespect to Conwell, who does feel like March. Trey Johnson's the best player in this game. Like, bar none, no questions asked. Trey Johnson is the best player in this game. And, I'm excited for exactly what this looks like. Outside of the two superstars, who do you have your eye on as somebody that could decide this matchup?
Well, I think one of the big things that's happened with Xavier kind of winning a lot of more games as of late is that Fremantle has been playing well. I know that this makes your skin crawl because you feel a certain way about Zach Fremantle and the fact that he is still firing up a Xavier uniform and still donning that across his chest at his big age. But the fact of the matter is he's been really, really good as of late. He's been scoring the basketball, rebounding. I think a big part of what this like winning streak that Xavier's been on, though it has been against maybe some lower level Big East teams, is that he's played extremely well. And I think that changes things for this Xavier team. And on the other side, Texas has a big in Caden Shedrick who has March experience. He can have the ability to affect things defensively, has the size and the mobility as long as his shoulder doesn't fall apart, which I feel like it could at any moment. So that's another matchup I think I'm looking at. But Fremantle's been really good this year, especially as of late.
He has been. I begrudgingly say that.
I
Three
mean,
Ken Palm
when you look
MVPs.
at it, like Fremantle's really averaging 17 and 7 this year.
Three Ken Palm MVPs in their final four games. He's been a huge part of the turnaround. He had 23 against Calk. He had 24 against Butler, 25 against Providence. Only one of those three impressed me. But it was good. I Here's my thing with Fremantle and where I've always stood on this. He's a good player. I don't like when guys that are good players stick around till they're 26 and we decide they're a great player.
Mm.
And that's what I feel like has been the narrative with Fremantle. If Fremantle was truly that awesome, this team wouldn't be in the first four because Conwell is awesome. If Conwell and Fremantle are that good, shouldn't be in the first four. But you are because this team's been wildly inconsistent. Because I don't think and I don't mean to come too harsh on Fremantle. He's largely been great this year, but man, it's a guy that I don't know has been like when he was active in 2022. He was very productive on a team that lost a bazillion games. In 2023, they were very good with him for the first half of the season. Then he got hurt. Can't hold that against him. It's great to see him come back 2 years later and have the success that he's had. He's not a guy that strikes crazy amounts of fear in me against the Texas front court. And I don't love the Texas front court, but like at a minimum, we know that Shedrick is going to protect the rim. He's a big dude. And I think Arthur Kaluma might be the swing piece here for me, Cart, because
Mm.
Kaluma is a guy that I think you could potentially use in multiple positions in this game. And I'm not saying matching him up with Fremantle is necessarily what you want, but he's a guy that could take advantage of Fremantle defensively a little bit if they're able to mismatch him in the front court, go small a little bit, and maybe try to expose Fremantle on the other end.
Yeah, no, I definitely think there are some guys like I think there are some things that could be done in that regard, but can I poke a hole in that theory that you just brought up?
Please.
Who's making the call that happens?
That would be Rodney Terry.
Say that to yourself again.
So it's Rodney Terry. Who's the other coach in this game?
Hmm?
Who's the other coach in this game?
The coach is Xavier,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Miller.
Mm-hmm. And how many years has he won an NCAA tournament game in his last 6 seasons as a head coach?
Has he won zero?
He's won one. Well, he won 2 games. He has 1 year where he won a game in the NCAA tournament
Oh, okay.
in
1 year.
6 seasons.
Oh, it's not ideal.
Oh, it is almost like maybe all his success correlated with being the bag dropper before other schools were dropping bags.
Mm,
Almost seems like maybe that was what was going on.
mm,
Maybe,
possibly.
maybe. Which one of these teams do you think it is Xavier who like wants this more? They're in the NCAA
Uh,
tournament. Both teams want it, but like
yes.
motivationally, kind of just feels like Xavier's like the peaking at the right time team.
Xavier, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got anything else on this matchup before predictions?
Um, mm, nothing too crazy. No, I think we covered basically everything.
All right. Let's get to predictions. Ken
Okay.
Palm tells us Xavier should win by 1 point. These teams are one spot separated from each other on Ken Palm, 1 point separated in the game preview. Who do you think wins?
I'm gonna go with Xavier to win this basketball game. As much as I love Trey Johnson, I've actually been impressed with Xavier in this run that they've been on. I think that Conwell has been really good. Fremantle's been really good. They've been getting, other things and uh, you know, contributions from guys like McKnight and Foster and other guys, Swain as well. I don't know. I'm kind of buying this Xavier team to possibly pull something off, and they can't do that unless they win this first game. And it's time for the marriage between myself and Rodney Terry to end. It's not ending on good terms. But yeah, it's time for us to move on and go our separate ways.
Yeah, I can't believe that you are picking against your Longhorns in a play-in game against a Sean Miller team.
Well, I'd like to see my Longhorns go in a different direction, and I think it
Okay.
starts.
It's character growth for you. I will say, Texas impressed me more in their conference tournament than Xavier did. I think you saw Rodney Terry kind of passionately playing for his job, and I think the players responded for that, and I think that still applies to this game.
Hmm.
So I won't be surprised if Texas wins this game, but I'm going to respect and honor you picking against your Longhorns by picking with you. I'm going to take Xavier. I agree that Conwell is the March hero here, not Trey Johnson. And one thing we didn't talk about schematically that I do think will be the difference Xavier gets to the free throw line a lot and is the eighth best free throw shooting team in the country. Texas fouls a lot. They have the 319th defensive foul rate, free throw attempt rate in the sport. So I think you'll get a lot of freebies at the line in this game. I think Xavier will capitalize on that and take advantage. Give me Xavier. We'll have a recap up of it later this week. Thanks for watching.